Welcome back, you absolute legends. I am Faith or Meliminus, whatever you want to call me, whatever you're able to spell, honestly. Most people just call me Molly. Meliminus is, I guess, hard to spell, even though it's spelled exactly how it sounds. But English can be hard. You know what else is hard? Not to segue to our sponsor, because all of this content is brought to you by you. All right. Thank you so much for all your support. All the moolah that you have given me over on the IO store has really helped in the development of this, getting actual better PC parts that I can justify spending the money on so that my wife doesn't divorce me. If you're not in the know and you don't know what I'm talking about with the title here of the Xsens plugin V3, this is essentially a plugin that allows all these users who have Xsens motion capture suits, as they love to brag that it's used in things like movies and games, all kinds of AAA titles. And it allows them to stream that data to various different sources. Normally this costs like $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 a year with limited support and rapidly changing pricing. And when in reality, you already paid $20,000 or $7,000, or if you're really good, $1,300 like me for the hardware. And you should be able to use said hardware for whatever you want to use it for without being tied to an online-only service or subscription thing. And that's what this does. Previously, this pretty much only worked with Unity, and it only worked with a certain version of Unity. Now, I'm not saying it works with every version of Unity, but as long as Xsens is keeping their plugins fairly consistent, this should work across the board now. Our Unity version of this plugin was pretty damn good. It's pretty good. It's now better. I wasn't taking into account world space, so there was actually a little bit of drift. Not like drift in the actual motion, but in the position. When we replay the actual official Xsens streamer and our streamer, we noticed that the bipeds were in two different locations doing the same movement. While the actual movements were 1-to-1 and they were matching up, the world space orientation was off. Taking a closer look at some of the things as well, we noticed that the fingers were slightly off. So like the thumbs would be a little bit extended too much, and sometimes the pointer finger wasn't extended enough. There was just some really weird stuff that we noticed, and it was just because we mainly focused on body sending because we didn't have gloves. So we made the mistake of getting Manus Primes, which they no longer support, and they no longer have the downloads for. And also, we got the version that apparently isn't rated for Xsens. We haven't tested out if they worked since, but it just wasn't a huge thing. So finger tracking, we just kind of looked at the data and just said it looks good. Now we know it is good. There were certain offsets that we had to apply, and we had to redo the math, and when we got the body right, we got the fingies right. And so now it is perfect. So all your fingering can be done 1-to-1. Euler is what iClone uses. And I didn't know how popular iClone was for Xsens users, because Xsens charges like $1,500 for a plugin in iClone, which is unreal. Which it also works in, by the way. So, it now works in iClone. This was done by a private commission. Some Saudi Arabian prince paid me at least one Canadian crap load in order to go ahead and program this. They got a great deal. I now have a singular gray hair that won't go away, and I'm only 28. This took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and per contract, I can't put it out in just the same plugin version for X amount of months and time and whatever. It will eventually come there, but I am also allowed to give it out for private buying. So you can email us at meliminoussales@gmail.com and we'll work something out for you. We have a pretty standardized pricing now for it because we've been approached by so many different people for that. The rest of this is just all bundled underneath your same $100 purchase that you did on the Xsens.io store. Unless someone pays me specifically to add an add-in and feature that I wasn't already going to do, it will always just be included in the same purchase. If you already bought it, just go back and download it again. You don't have to pay $100 again to get it. But now you can stream the body into Blender as well. The body and Blender works just the same as Unity. You just switch this though into the Blender mode and you'll notice that the fingers are locked because fingers are again hard, and we just did not have time to finish that for 3.0, and we've done so many different improvements that it was just time to go ahead and release this. I need a break. I've been working on this for so very long. So we'll eventually do like a 3.5 drop where the Blender fingers are working once we get some breathing room. And hopefully once we are able to get an Xsens branded finger tracking gloves, you know, that just work with Xsens, and we don't have to do a bunch of finagling to get going. The plugin also works for Maya and Motion Builder. Now, I don't use Motion Builder and I don't use Maya, but from the videos and stuff that beta testers have sent me, it does seem to be working in there. I was not specifically programming it for Maya, but because most of these programs take the same information, remember Xsens official streamer is sending one stream, it's not really changing too much between each thing. It's usually done on the receiving side, the plugin side of whatever program that it's in, that it translates it to working for that specific program. So as far as I'm aware, Maya and Motion Builder both work. So now instead of recording in Unity and then exporting that FBX and importing it to your program of choice, you should be able to stream the data directly into Blender, Maya, Unreal, Motion Builder, MATLAB, or wherever you want to send it. If you want to use this for 2025 version of Xsens, previously you couldn't. It just wouldn't load. Xsens changed some things and it stopped our plugin from working. We have since remedied that. So if you have 2024.2.2 and above, which is working on the 2025 licensure model, you can actually go ahead and use this plugin with that. You just need these two versions of the plugin. So just download the 2025 version, which again will be in the same download as the normal version on the itch.io store. You drop these both into there. 2025 will either give you a black or white screen for our plugin window until you load a scene. That's just kind of how it is. It could probably fix that, but it works. It's functional. You don't really need to use any of the buttons until you have at least a scene loaded, so it should be fine. But that's all the updates that I have. More detailed notes may be on the itch.io store. But for now, this is a pretty dang good, nearly feature complete release of the project, and I hope you guys enjoy. As always, if you run into issues, you can add them to the GitHub repository where you can submit the issues, which is what that's pretty much for, and I will try to get to it, and unless it's too hard and I don't feel like it. So always, I love your beautiful faces, so hope you at least like the videos. If you guys want to see us working on more projects and whatnot, we stream a lot on Millennium Theater. So in between us raging at ranked Marvel rivals, we'll pull up some different projects we're working on and we'll give information about stuff there. And you can ask us questions in real time. So I hope to see you there. Take care.